Hello, friends. Corey Robinson here. Just wanted to check in with everybody and give a little update in the real estate world. Filming this on April 27th, and so we are still sheltered in place here in Northern California. No telling when that'll change. I know it's at least till May 3rd. So hearing a lot of misinformation and kind of random ideas around where the market's going, and just wanted to give you an update mainly on a macro level as far as what the country's seeing, but also share some local experiences with you. um, so we'll work our way through some slides and helpful graphics, and I'll move quickly here, but if you want me to answer any specific questions, please reach out to me directly. And man, I didn't realize how bush league my mustache looks until we get on these Zoom calls here. My poor wife has to put up with me every day. Um, anyways, so there's 5 questions that our friends at KCM have been posing, and I'm going to address some of them. The biggest one here is the first, which is when is the economy going to recover? And though none of us have a crystal ball, I think it's important to kind of learn from the experts and see what they're saying versus reading the headlines in newspapers. We're probably going to be seeing folks saying, April was the worst housing month we've had in X number of years. And, all the clickbait out there that they want you to read the article. That's how they get paid. And so I wanted to provide a little bit more practical insight and also, focus on the things that we have within our control, not just live in fear and constantly find ourselves going down the rabbit holes of what they're telling you on the news or the media. So with that said, we'll delve into the economy, and it's certainly on hold right now. The pause button has been pushed, and I feel for all my friends, who are impacted from a health standpoint, but also those small business owners, fellow real estate agents who, we're all going to feel some impact from this, and it's all going to be in a pretty negative direction, except for maybe our friends at Zoom and a few other small businesses that are benefiting from this, and kudos to them for that. So when looking at recovery, economists often use a few different models, the V, the U, and the L. And our friends at KCM had a good kind of analogy with a tennis ball. So V-shaped recovery is one similar to a new tennis ball. So you pop it open, you throw it on the ground, and it comes right back up into your hand. And the U-shaped recovery is a ball that's been sitting in the garage for a while. You can still play with it, but it's not as bouncy as it once was. And then the L, which is kind of the evil cousin of the V-shaped, which is, I'll actually delve into it's basically when it's a steep fall and then it kind of hangs low. But as it pertains to a tennis ball, it's when a dog's gotten a hold of it. It's, you throw it at the ground and it basically just rolls away. So you can't even play tennis with it. And by definition, a V-shaped recovery is an economic period in which the economy experiences a sharp decline. However, it's also a brief period of decline. There's a clear bottom called a trough by economists, which does not last long. Then there's a strong recovery. The U-shaped, this is kind of the used tennis ball, is when the decline is more gradual, i.e. less severe, and the recovery that follows starts off moderately, then picks up speed, and the recovery could last for 12 to 24 months. So some folks are predicting this in the economic world. And then there's the L-shaped recovery, and that's a steep economic decline followed by a long period with no growth. When an economy is an L-shaped recovery, getting back to where it was before the decline will take years. And so when I talk about all this, it's not necessarily my opinion or what I'm thinking, because I have no idea, but I like to lend the insights and lean on the experts that spend a lot of time and money and energy researching this and then share it with you. So yeah, I'm looking at the 4 major financial institutions: Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, and Wells Fargo. They're all showing this V-shaped recovery. So it's when it's a sharp decline, wild ride down, and then it should hopefully be an exhilarating ride back up. So it's showing a pretty harsh, brutal Q2 as far as GDP is concerned, and then some recovery in the third quarter. 3 of the 4 say we're going into positive territory in Q3, and then all 4 are saying we should be in positive territory by Q4. So this indicates there should be some light at the end of the tunnel here. And, though it might feel like it's been forever and that this is going to last forever, I certainly hope that's not the case, and also hope that there's not a second round of this coronavirus, because this has been brutal. Also wanted to highlight a little bit of what other experts are saying. So this is a quote from the Harvard Business Review, and they state, "It's worth looking back at history to place the potential impact path of COVID-19 empirically. In fact, V-shaped monopolized the empirical landscape of prior shocks, including epidemics such as SARS, H3N2, H2N2, and the Spanish flu." So history certainly leaves clues, and I think, looking at this data is probably more important than what you're going to read in the San Francisco Chronicle, or any other clickbait that pops up on your phone. And this one's from Josh Burns Consulting. They do a ton of consulting for new construction and, are very prominent in the housing industry. So historical analysis shows us that pandemics are usually V-shaped, sharp recessions that recover quickly enough to provide little damage to home prices. And some very cutting-edge search engine analysis by our information management team showed us the current slowdown is playing out similarly thus far. So another person kind of suggesting the V-shaped recovery, and, hopefully we will bounce back. This is another very interesting slide. This is from PricewaterhouseCoopers survey of 50 leaders from a cross-section of industries. And so the question posed here is, if COVID-19 were to end today, how long would you estimate it would take for your company to get back to business as usual? And so this has obviously been changing and developing over time. So when you look back at March 15th, I know that's just before we were sheltered in place here in Marin, or right around there. I don't even remember the specific date. But at that point in time, 66% of businesses said that it would take them less than 30 days to get back to business as usual. At that point, 24 had said it would take 1 to 3 months. And as of March 29th, that was updated as, the cuts get a little bit deeper and you need to learn how to bounce back. So as of March 29th, 36% were saying it would take less than 30 days, and 40% would be saying 1 to 3 months. That's still a big chunk. We're looking at 76% saying that it'll take less than 3 months to get back to business as usual, which is good. And again, it changed on April 14th. We're now 22% are saying that they could get back to business as usual in less than 30 days. And 39% are saying it'll take 1 to 3 months. And I guess the good news is not too many businesses are saying it's going to take more than a year to recover. So a lot of variables play in, the size of the company, the industry, the liquidity. I know a lot of small businesses are getting some support from the government. Hopefully it's helpful. I know others are not receiving checks and they're waiting, and there's a lot of businesses negatively impacted here. So this is just to kind of give a broad idea as to what industry professionals are saying. And again, it kind of suggests that though this is horrible, in the big scheme of things, the recovery should be pretty quick. And I know we all look forward to that for many reasons. And Goldman Sachs had another good quote, and I think this makes a lot of sense as far as how to look at what's going on right now, because it is such a dynamic situation. They're stating, if policymakers manage to thread the needle between continued virus control and gradual reopening of the economy, the level of GDP should begin to move higher in the months ahead. And so when you're looking at this, you're dealing with a pretty dynamic situation, right? There's the health science, where you don't want to open up necessarily and have everyone run back out there, have everyone contract coronavirus, overwhelm the healthcare industry, lose a lot of lives. So the health science is saying we might need to shelter in place and for 18 months until there's a, a vaccine created. And then there's the business science, who are the economists and looking at how can we keep this economy running. And there's the extreme of that spectrum, which is let's just open everything up, get going, and risk the lives that you know of people that'll be contracted, and the grandparents and the target demographics that would be in great danger if that were to happen. And then there's also kind of the social sciences. If businesses open up, how soon are people going to be ready to go back and eat at a restaurant or go to a movie, go to a sporting event, So there's a lot of different variables weighing in here. And on very few occasions, I've tried to thread a needle. And with my big old fingers, it hasn't gone very well the first try. So I know it's not an easy dynamic here. And I think it's going to be delicate, kind of gradually reopening. And it'll be interesting to see how it pans out. I know that different areas of the country, too, some are more rural, some are more densely populated. We saw what happened in New York, which was just horrific. So there's not necessarily a one-size-fits-all solution. And again, going back to the media, you don't want to get too set on one extreme or another. I think you just got to pay attention and kind of be cognizant of what's going on around you. Hopefully be kind and be mindful. I know that this has kind of brought out the worst in a lot of people, and try to avoid fighting with strangers online. And that kind of wraps it up for today. Another question I will do my best to address is, are we going into a recession? And little hint, my response is yes, but I'll touch more on that in the next day or two here. Thank you. Stay safe, my friends. As always, give me a call, shoot me an email, text with any questions you have. I'd be happy to further this discussion and take kind of the deeper dive. Also touch on local norms. And we will go from there. Take care. Thanks.